Alright, so starting with, if all six pairs of corresponding parts, the size and the angles are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. So what does it mean? So let's say, for example, if your side AB or the segment AB, using this triangle ABC, the side AB is congruent to DE using this different or another triangle. Okay, so on our screen, we can see we have two triangles there. Triangle ABC and the triangle DEF. If you are going to compare the line segment or the side AB from the first triangle and the side DE from our second triangle, if they are congruent, if that is given that these two sides are congruent, and another one, BC is also congruent to EF, AC is also congruent to DF, then we have now three sides congruent, alright? So we have also another characteristic, no? Angle, the measure of angle A, this one, and the measure of angle D, the measure of angle B to the measure of angle E, the measure of angle C to the measure of angle F. If all of these parts, the sides and angles are congruent, then these two triangles are also congruent. Alright? Okay, so therefore, triangle ABC and triangle DEF are congruent.
You call it beautiful, it's true, but I have one thing to say to you. I believe there is more to what you see.
Alright, but the question there, do you need all six? So kailangan ba, do we have to meet these six conditions that the three sides, the three pairs of these sides, and the three pairs of the angles should be congruent so that we can say that the two triangles are congruent?
I call it home.
Do you need? The answer is no. So naalang tayo specific nga conditions that we have to meet. That it is not necessarily mean that we have to meet all of these six conditions. And what are these? So these are the SSS, the SAS, the ASA, and the AAS. Sure, unsa may buot pasabot, what does it mean when we say SSS? It is not the social security system. But when we say S, it is the side of your triangle. When we say A, it is the angle or the measure of the angle of your triangle. So when you are given the triple S, meaning that you have to meet that all sides are congruent. If you are given the SAS, meaning you have two sides being congruent and one pair of your angle also congruent. For ASA, you are given two pairs of congruent angles and one pair of congruent sides. And lastly, for the double A, you should have two pairs of congruent angles and one pair of a congruent side. Alright, so at this time, let's discuss this one by one, starting with the SSS. Alright, so side, or the SSS. So, mao na siya ang buot pasabot no sa triple S. Postulate if the three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So, as what I have mentioned no sa ato previous slide, if these three pairs, for example, triangle ABC and triangle DEF, line AB, line BC, and line AC are congruent with line B or DE, EF, and DF, then three pairs of sides being congruent with each other, we can also conclude and say that these two triangles are congruent. So that is what is meant by the side postulate. Alright, so we have an example, no, illustration here. For the illustration, we have the triangle ABC and the triangle DEF. You can easily identify or determine whether the two triangles or the sides of these triangles are congruent using this symbol. So kani siyang usa lang ka line here, no? And then this one, meaning line AB, no? Line AB is congruent with line DE. So makita na to nga naa sila usa lang ka line. The same as true with the line BC and line EF. We have two lines there intersecting, right? So meaning that it means that BC and EF are congruent. The same as true with AC and DF. They have 1, 2, 3 lines intersecting, and meaning these sides AC and DF are congruent. All right. So therefore, you can say that one sa ato illustration, no, AB is congruent to DE, BC is congruent to EF, and AC is congruent to DF. Then we can conclude, or we can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF.
When I'm far away, the memories bring me closer to a daydream. Suddenly, the song came back to me. You call it beautiful, it's true.
Alright, so next slide, we have the included angle, the angle between two sides. So muna ako giingon nga, kaning included angle is the angle nga gipatung-an sa ato duha ka given sides. So using the figure triangle G or IGH and these two or three triangles. So for the first figure here, identify where is your included angle. So in the first figure, we can say that angle G is our included angle. Alright? Mao na siyang included angle because it is the angle between the two given sides. Using naman on the second figure, now we can say that angle I is our included angle. It is located just between these two sides. Alright? And for the third figure, we can say that angle H is our included angle since line or side IH and side GH, no? Side GH, gipatung-an niya si angle H. Alright, so that's it, no? And for the second postulate, we have the SAS or the side angle side. You are given two pairs of congruent sides and one pair of angle, and this angle should be an included angle. So it states that if two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to the two sides and included angle of another triangle, then the two sides or two triangles are congruent. For the illustration on our screen, so given triangle ABC and triangle DEF, using the symbol, we can say that line AB is congruent with line DE, line AC is congruent with line DF, and the included angle A and the included angle D are also congruent. We have now satisfied the conditions. Therefore, these two triangles are congruent. So triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. Alright, moving forward to our next slide, we have the side between two angles. If lately you are provided with two sides and an included angle, this time we are now given with two angles and an included side. So in our illustration, we have triangle IGH with three figures. So you are given the angles I and angle G. Alright, angle I and angle G. The included side here is, of course, the angle or the side IG or side GI. Sa second figure naman, we are given angle I and angle H. Alright? So the included side there should be the side IH or side HI. On our third figure, we are given angle G and angle H. Then our included side here should be side GH or side HG. And this is where our third postulate is being formulated. So you have there the included side using the triangle YES. So you have there the included side YE, ES, and SY. So that's our third postulate, the angle side angle, ASA. If two angles and an included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and the included side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So you are given two angles and a side in between these two given angles. For the illustration, focus your attention on our screen. So you are given with angle A is congruent with angle D. Then side AB and side DE are also congruent. And angle B is congruent with angle E. Then we can say that this, you have to check first if the given side is actually an included side of the given triangle. So we can say that these two angles or two triangles are congruent using the ASA. Alright, so ang atong illustration a while ago that illustrates our third postulate, the ASA.
There is so much this school has given me.
Alright, next discussion we have the angle side or the AAS. If two angles and a non-included side of one triangle are congruent to two angles and the corresponding non-included side of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. Alright, to further illustrate that one, we have another example here. Consider again triangle ABC and triangle DEF. You are given that angle A is congruent with angle D and angle B is congruent with angle E. That's why you have the same symbol there na makita nato ang single. And a non-included side, the side BC and the side EF. So we have already met the three conditions. Then we can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF.
Yes, you